Hello. Hi again. So I decided to make another video, and I thought today would be the day I would do this. And perhaps I will edit some of it. I know I didn't do that for the last video, but most of it just because I didn't really want to, and I didn't have the time. But today I might do it. Um, Yes, and I think that the topic for today, the thing I want to talk about, is my 3 favorite books I have at home. So it doesn't mean that it's my all-time favorite books, it's just the favorite books I have at home, because I don't have that many actually. Maybe about 50 books, I don't know. It's not that many, I think, and most of them is in Danish, so yeah, that's kind of sad because I don't really read Danish books anymore, so most of my books I don't read them. I only read English books right now. And that's mostly just because I want to learn more, and I'm gonna study English when I go to university. Yeah, in September. So yeah, so I'm usually just trying to read the English books so I will learn more. Yeah, but the 3 favorite books I have at home, and one of them is um Fault in Our Stars and Game of Thrones. And this book, this is a Danish book, and it's in Danish. It's called Mit venskab med Jesus Kristus, but in English it would be My Friendship with Jesus Christ. And this is actually not my book; it's my father's book, but he hasn't read it. I have. My mom has as well. And I think he should read it, just because I think it's really good. But the first book I would like to talk about is this one. And actually, I had never heard about it, and until I read it, and I read it in a day, in 6 hours actually. And it was one of my friends, my oldest friend, or what you say, named Caroline, and she has been a nerd fighter, and I don't really know what that is either, but yeah, she she was a nerd fighter, and John Green, which is the author, um, she said that he was very good, so I and she picked this book out for me because we were in a bookstore and I needed 3 books to read on the way home because we were in the capital. We were in Copenhagen, and it's a 3 hour journey by train home to where I live, so I needed something to read. And she picked this one, and I thought it was very, very good, and I liked the humor behind it very much, and I cried in the end. I think I only began to cry on page. I think it was this. No, it wasn't. I can't remember, but when I first thought that the person I thought was gonna die would die, I started crying just a little bit, and then I got irritated because it was late. It was about 1 in the morning, and I was very tired, so I didn't have time to be crying, so I couldn't read. And I had a slight headache because when you postpone sleep, when you don't go to sleep when you really should, and you start getting a bit dizzy and headache, and yeah, I had that. So I thought that I should be reading instead of crying, but I couldn't really help myself because it was just so sad. I really thought it was one of the saddest books I have read in a long time. So, but it was very, very good, and I have thought about buying another couple of books of his, just to see if they're as good as this one, because it was terrific, and I think everybody should read it. It's not what I usually read, I have to say. Mostly I read fantasy, but it was good. It's not a chick flick, sort of. I don't know really how to describe it. The storyline is very different from anything I've ever read before. And then I read a story about cancer kids, and this is what this is about. It's about kids or teenagers or young adults having cancer, and if they survive or not. Like, it's very good. And I actually thought it would be a little bit more, not dark, but I don't know. I just thought that they would be perhaps a bit more affected by the cancer. Of course, yeah, and that's what I liked about also that even though it's a book about cancer and young people dying, it still got the humor, so it wouldn't be too hard to read, I think. And then I found out that it was in the memory of a nerd fighter who died of cancer, and I thought that was really sweet of him to write this book. Even though I know nothing about nerd fighter, I thought it was a good thought, good of him to write something like that. Yes, and then I want to talk about this one, A Game of Thrones. This is a book series, Song of Ice and Fire. Yes, that's the book series I'm reading right now, and I've gotten to the book number 3, second part. Yeah, I think this is very good. It's a very good series. I like fantasy, as I just said before, and it's very long, tiny letters, and it took me forever to read this one in the beginning because I was still in school, so I didn't have that much free time. Um, but I have now because I have like half a year to read the whole series in, so I think I will manage it. And I have to have finished reading the third book by when the third series of television show gets out. That I just have to do that. I've done that with the other 2 books as well, so no, actually I didn't. I didn't know there was a TV series before I read this one. I just read it and thought that it was good, and then I found out that there was a television show as well, and that was just awesome. So I watched that one, and I got the first series for Christmas this year by my little brother. So good on you, brother. Um, I have to say, what I like most about this, I guess, is the different storylines. That you get a different perspective on the story instead of it's just one person you hear the story from all the time. Um, and I like that you read some of the perspectives of the bad guys as well. For example, Jaime Lannister, because he is a bad guy, I suppose. But you kind of want to read about him as well because he's doing what he does for love, I suppose. Somehow twisted love, incest love. I don't know. So, but I really, yeah, and you have to excuse my way of saying the names because I'm saying it the way I read it when I'm Danish. So, Tyrone, is that what it's called? Imp. The imp, and I've made a hand gesture, even though you can't see it. I don't know why I did that, but I did. Yeah, good for me. Sorry. Yeah. So the imp, of the dwarf, Tyrone Lannister. I think it's fun reading about him as well. But Jon Snow and Arya, I think that's how you pronounce her name. Those 2 are my favorites. Stark children, both of them. Even though Jon Snow is a bastard, and I'm feeling sad for him because he's my fave. And especially in book 3, for you who haven't read it, I won't spoil it for you, but you should read it, all of them. I mean, though I haven't gotten that far yet. He has change of heart. I don't know what you call it. He's changing. I love the fact that he's seeing the world for more than just what he thought it was from Winterfell, and he's not just the bastard son of Eddard Stark anymore. He's like his own man. That's great. And Arya, she's just the best. I love her so much. I think she's doing an awesome job, and I like the way the author has described her as well. And in the movie, in the TV series, she's also awesome. I love her. She's one of my faves. I actually just watched the first episode of Mother's Day, and she thought that Arya was kind of the character in the first episode, that is, who did what the others wanted to do. She's kind of like a little rebellious. She's a teenager, I guess, even though she's not that old. But at that time, you kind of did things earlier than you do today. So I suppose that's just the way it was. But everyone should read this. I think it's awesome. I don't know what else to say about it, but it's awesome. Yeah, read this one too. Okay, and then for the Danish book. The book called My Friendship with Jesus Christ. And it's not what you think. It's not a book for Christians, because I'm an atheist, so I don't really read Christian stuff, religious stuff that much. But this is actually a book about. In the beginning, I thought that the main character, which is a guy, I thought he had some kind of personality disorder or something, that he spoke like, or that he saw people that wasn't there, something like Gollum. I don't know, something like that. But really, in the end, I don't know if he was seeing something or if it's really a person, because another friend of his saw the person as well, so I was like, oh my god, maybe he's real. But it's really good, and it's about, actually the town next to me. This is where half the book takes place. And that's where my mom grew up and where my grandparents lived, so that's kind of awesome. And it actually takes place in the same street as my grandparents live, so that's kind of, I know where it is. Way. And he's also from Tam. That's I know that's kind of stupid name for a city, but it's called Tam. Yeah. Sorry. But it's very good. It doesn't say that. See the pages? They're not that. It's not that much on the pages actually, and some of the pages also it's newspaper articles, because the main character's mother was a famous singer in the book, and she had two children. One of them was the main character, and another other person was his sister, and his sister commits suicide. And I spoiled it there. But she's not that important. I don't think she's that important. Well, it's his sister, but no, not to me. But the character is kind of an existentialistic. Is that what the whole thing is? A journey to develop yourself and your identity. That's what this book is about, and I think it's a jolly good book. And I actually read it for an assignment at school. But my teacher was like, just read this one, it's very good, and it's like the basics for what we are having about in this class, what we are trying to come to terms with. I don't know what to call it really, but it's a good book, and every Dane should read it at least once. And if I don't know if it's been translated into English, but if it was, I think you should read it, because it's very, very good. And I don't know what's about me and books, but these two, actually, there's a lot of sex in them. This one is very violent as well, but this one also has a lot of violence and bad language. And I dig it. I think it's very good. This one doesn't have that. Maybe a bit of bad language, but the sex in this is not that. No, it almost doesn't. You don't hear that much. Actually, there is a sex scene in it, but it's not that out there. So this one has a lot of explicit sex scenes. At least the last sex scene. That's kind of like. And I hate him for having the last sex he had, because I thought his life was so good, so awesome, and then just screwed it all up and slept with the wrong person again. And why did he do that? I do not know. He shouldn't have. Yeah. So now I have been rambling for 14 minutes, and I think it is time for me to cut it down and perhaps try to edit some of it, even though I know I'm not gonna do it well. But I'm gonna try. So I hope this was okay, and I hope that you didn't get too bored listening to me ramble about my three favorite books I have at home. Yeah, so that's that's it for today. And bye.